Guess what's happening in this video? New bike day! Let's build this bad boy. Yeah, boy! Well, as you may have seen on my social media, I have been gathering parts for a new hardtail build, which is the Nicolai Argon. Here it is. Delicious. Delightful. It's going to be a wee hardcore hardtail with pinion at the bottom. You can see this frame has some very nice details, as do all the Nicolais. These massive welding marks are quite impressive. And we've got some really beautifully machined chainstays at the back here. The dropouts and the belt tensioning slider here are quite a thing of beauty, so we can actually move the whole axle all the way along and clamp it up. Very nice. Let's get building. Hey hey. Next up out of the box is some Hope goodies. Is that the right way around? It is! Excellent. So here we have some nice E4 brakes and the adapters, the rotors in the bottom, and seat clamp which we can put straight on, so I'm going to take that, and also headset because we need to put that in there. Seat clamp's an easy one, so let's just stick that straight on there. All the pieces of the Hope headset, the tapered headset, because it's big at the bottom and small at the top. Right, let's grease her up and slip her in. Oh, and it also has the head doctor bit, so instead of ramming a star nut into your fork steerer, you use this thing that expands inside the fork steerer and you can screw down into it to tighten the headset. Magic solutions. I love the Shimano grease. It looks like the same colour as the Hope, the green bearing on the inside. Nice. Would be better with a brush, but I am not that fancy. Okay. Let's crank her up. See that it's all sitting nice and straight. Very nice. Squeeze it in. Very nice. Oh yes. Look at the grease squelch out the side. Tight. Is that as tight as it should be? Yeah, there we go. So it's tight there. Excellent. And we can pop that off. Make sure these come with it. And we have one headset cup set inserted. Bob on. Can we focus here? Yes. Look at the grease around there. Just take the excess off and put it inside for where the bearing's going to go. I'm putting a Scottish amount of grease into the bearings here. Next out the bag, or the box should I say, is some forks. Now these are my old forks that I replaced with the Morks, and we have a pre-installed Mudhugger, and yeah, everything's kind of good to go. So let's fit these bad boys onto the frame. As always, a liberal but controlled application of the lube. Got to not overdo it because that gathers dirt, but also not underdo it because then you get dirt and crud and water all the way through, and that's no good. forks in. Smash that down. And what bit might we stick on the top here? I know. Oh yes. Actually, I couldn't help myself, and I have already attached it to the handlebars. Got a nice little red Hope free ride stem. I believe it's 35mm. Looks good. Let's stick it on. Oh, perfect. There we go. Sometimes takes a little bit of encouragement just to all settle in. Nice. I think it's time to crack out one of the most crucial parts of the build. Goes down here. Let's see what's in the box. Here we go. Pinion! Pinion. All in a box. In here we have the gearbox. Here it is. What a unit! What a unit. Some bit of kit. This is the Pinion P19XR, which is a 9-speed version with an extended range that gives it the same kind of range as the 12-speed, which is a tad under 600% for this one, but with only 9 gears, and it saves a little bit of weight by removing one whole set of the gears to bring it down to 9, which is fab. And I thought I would change it up for this build and see what this one was like, because I think that 12 gears is perhaps unnecessary, and the jumps between them are not all that necessary either. I feel like my legs can cater for an awful lot more power variation in speed rather than the pure road bike cadence model of power delivery. So let's give this a try. Let's bolt it on and see how it goes. It's pretty easy to install this actually. 3 bolts in each side and we're done. Here are the bolts. Right, here it is, the Pinion box. The drive side is this side here with a little spline on it, and the brake side is the side with the gear cables that come out. So we're putting it on this way, and generally all we do is put these bolts in here. Now, from what I remember, we put the back ones in first. Okay, and then the other ones go into place. Pretty straightforward. Pop. Bit of an interference fit just at the front here to help steady it. You'll notice that there's plenty of Loctite on these bolts already, and that's just to make sure that they're not coming loose at any point, because you're basically putting your whole weight and force through these bolts here as you're stood on the pedal, so delivering all the bike's power through these 6 bolts, so they've got to be strong. Okay, just need to put the cranks on now. Actually, got to put the front cog on as well. So next out the box are these amazing Carbondrive cogs from Gates, and this is the one that goes on the gearbox. It's beautiful single piece machining. It really is quite incredible actually. A previous video I did on fitting one of these, that if you twang it, it rings for ages. Okay, that goes on there. Super nice, looks beautiful, very shiny. And this lock nut, put the washer on first, which slips over there, and then the lock ring also has lots of Loctite on it, pre-installed and dried, ready to be tightened up, threaded on. So reverse thread this, Drivetrain pieces can often be reverse threads, so we're tightening it up anti-clockwise, which is a bit weird. And to tighten it up, I need to put the other crank on here, which is a big 10mm Allen key job. Don't you know, lube it up. You got to lube it up. Alright. Putting that through there. And tightening. While trying not to slip and cut my fingers on everything. We need to put some significant torque through this one, so I think I'll use a little bar extender here. There you go. So a little bit of power. Just check it here, this direction. Make sure it's all nice and tight in there. Give it a last crank up. Okay. It says put 40 Newton meters on. That felt like 40. There we go. Just make sure they're pointing in opposite directions, because we don't want two cranks pointing the same way or any skew whiff kind of ways. Boink. It's still twanging. Nice small cog at the front and give me nice ground clearance from here as well, because we're not running a bash guard anymore. Although I think I might get one made that fits onto the bottom of the pinion gearbox here just to protect that. We don't need the tensioner at the back because we ain't got suspension on this bad boy. Okay, so next out the box are my 6th element wheels. These are the massive chunky carbon rims that I used to run on the Geometron, but I'm going to put them with the red hub to match the red stem on the Hardtail. The rear I've pre-installed with the Gates Carbondrive cog, and it's a single speed trials hub because you don't need the full size cassette body carrier on a belt drive system because there's only one cog. That means that you can have more engagements in the hub on the trials single speed hub, as well as a stiffer wheel because the flanges are further apart and the wheel's symmetrical. Very good. We also have tyres. VEE Tyres, the Snap World Cup edition, which I've been running on the Geometron for a while now, and they are absolutely fab. Loads of people have been asking for these, and they seem to be getting a bit of a reputation for some extreme grip and good wearing as well. Look at the knobbles here, are a little bit deeper than the standard trail version, and the update to the World Cup edition has now got these slightly more reinforced and squarer side knobs. So we'll get these mounted up and get those wheels on the bike. I'm so confident, I'm not even going to try and blow it up first. I'm just going to put the sealant straight in and blow it. On with just hands. Do I even need to take the valve core out? Quite probably not. First time. No problemo. Straight on the rim. Has it popped yet? Nope, still to pop down there. Oh, missed it again. More beautiful Hope goodness to put on these bad boys. Going for the big numbers as well. 203s. Love me the big braking power. Although Joe Barnes actually mentioned a really cool point the other day that I hadn't thought of before, was that if you run smaller discs with powerful calipers, then they heat up faster because it's a smaller disc, smaller material. And that means that your brakes work faster, quicker, better when they're wet. Interesting point. What a faff it is putting in rotor bolts. Let's zoom in on the faffage. Faffage zoom. I should have brought my power tools. Okie doke, now we've got the tyres blown up, the rotor on. Let's stick this bad boy in the fork. And I know some of you will be like, oh, what's he doing, put the wheels on at this stage, they're only going to get in the way. Well, screw you guys, this is my build video and I'm going to build it the way I want, and I want to see the wheels on. So, the wheels are going on. My specially adapted T45 axle. Boof! Look at that. Very nice. It's only got a 27.5 wheel in the front, but I think in the future I'll be changing these bad boys and getting the old 29er on the front to make it a mullet as well, because I'm really enjoying that setup. And now for the rear. Put the back wheel on. Quick bar spin. Alright, look at that. She's got the wheels on. What other little bits in the box have we got? Let's go and have a look. Got a nice saddle to put on. Grips and stuff. Yep. And the dropper post. Let's get that on. The packaging on the bike yoke dropper is sensational. Bike yoke. Revive. Because you can revive it on the go. That's the whole point. Don't need that bit anymore. Oh, all the good stuff. Oh, it even comes with a cable. Nice one, forgot about that. And the clamp and the lever is all sweetly packed all the way in there. What a package. Here is the post itself. Super duper. Actuation smooth as butter. Let's slot it in. I'll hook it up with the cable and the lever once we get the brakes on. Nice box. Okay, here comes the left brake lever. Very nice. Here comes the front brake, little darling. So for the saddles, we've got the Ergon SM mountain bike for men, and it has a little blue bit on the back, which isn't my normal colour, but it does actually have little blue bits on the tyres and on these forks, so I think we'll be matching in quite nicely. There we go. Quite easy to get this saddle bolted in. You don't need to take the clamp completely apart to fit the saddle in, as you saw. Slides in and out nice and easily. There you go. Simple as that. Job done. One of the coolest features about the new Nicolai setup is the external cable routing. So all we do is clamp it down onto the frame, and we've got these little things here, little clamps that stop the cables going anywhere, which is fantastic. Much neater. Stops any scuffing on the fork, crowns, or anywhere else. Stops your cables rattling about as well. Right, next up is the shifter. We're going to fit that onto the bars. Pretty straightforward. Slide it on. There we go. Good to go. It slides under the lever. This is the new shifter that was designed in collaboration with Ergon, and they've got grips to match. So this is the little shorty grip that goes on the drive side. It goes on there. And the long one goes on this side. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? The little cap in. All the way in. And then I can tighten that one up, which is very nice. Yeah, this is the DS2 shifter, which has much better cable routing. As you can see here, there's a 90-degree cable exit, and it goes under the levers, which is really, really handy. Okay dokie, we are ready for the last component, which is the belt. Now, this is a slightly different sized belt to what I'm used to. It's a little bit smaller because it doesn't need to have the tensioner part here because it's the hardtail. Cog to cog, no tensioner, except we tension it with these sliding dropouts at the back here. And we put it on here and we can split the frame just here. Normally I'd split it in the linkage on the geometron because we need to get it in behind the chainstay. Or the belt stay, perhaps this should now be called. Easy as that. Just a little break in the frame because it's going to go through just like that. I'll hook that through there. Put it all back together. Okay. Another thing that I need to check is the belt alignment. And I've got spacers on the freehub body here so that I can move the cog left and right, but it actually looks pretty good the way it is. I'm going to loosen the dropouts, which is a 6mm. Use the triangle Allen key. And loosen them off, and on the other side. The cool thing about the other side is that when you loosen it off, the brake caliper actually slides with it, so you don't need to worry about tightening that up. Then we've got the adjuster in there, which allows us to basically tighten it up. There we go, so the belt is on. And now we need to set the tension, and on my phone here I'm going to get an app. So search for Gates Carbondrive, there it is. Carbondrive the app, installing, and I allow access to the audio because we're going to choose by twanging the belt what it sounds like when it's in tension. Okay, so I'm consistently getting in the low 70s of the hertz, low 70s hertz. So that means that if I look at the recommended frequency, it's 60 to 75, and I'd quite like as much tension as I am allowed to make sure that it doesn't come off. So we're in the low 70s and that sounds bang on to me. So I'm going to even out the dropouts, tighten them up, and that's the belt on. So I've put the cables on the frame, attached them with the little clamps on the down tube, brought them round, added on the special little ferrules with the sleeve extension on them. And to access the shifter, there's a little screw here, a little bolt. I'm just going to undo that one, open that off, and then slide off the covering, which just comes off like that. So as you can see, it's getting quite dark now, losing a bit of light, so I've just cracked on and figured out which cable goes in which bit. Although I know it, it is worth checking. And I've now tensioned up the cables and I'm putting the final cable in. And I'm just pinching that up as well, because it's a real awkward mission to try and cut it neatly when there's tension in the cables. The index ring back on, or the housing, clamp, put the screw back in, so that's as far as it'll go into 1 and all the way to 9. So the indexing is perfect. What a dude. Can you tell I've done it before? Okay, for the finishing touches, I've put some lights out. Can you tell? Looks much different in here now. Voila! It is finished. All we need is some pedals. Let's check those gears. Oh yeah, easy gear. Straight through into hard gear. What a range. Okay, let's unhook it, see how it goes. Solid. Well, there we are. The Nicolai Argon with Pinion, Gates Carbondrive, Hope brakes, Hope components, 6th element wheels, VEE tyres, Mudhugger up the front, the bike yoke dropper post, Padow! Ergon saddle, Ergon grips. Yeah, what a machine. I think you can see that it's a very simple build with the gearbox drivetrain. All you need to do is bolt it on, pull the cables in, and it's all a nice sealed simple unit. Need to do a wee bit of fine tuning and cable trimming and stuff like that. I've got some plans for the forks. I think we're going to get some nice special forks to put on the front of there, get rid of that gold stuff. If you guys enjoyed the video, give us a wee thumbs up like if you like the bike, and check over here for some more videos. Subscribe down here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheerio!